What is up, YouTubers and cinephiles? Welcome back to another edition of Nerd with me, John Ricky, back for another review. I hope you enjoyed my boy Andrew Christopher with his favorite film of all time, King Kong, last video. And just to let you know, you'll probably be seeing a little bit of him when it comes to our classic reviews, just for future notice. Now, back to the matter at hand, the newest movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or Marvel adjacent, I guess? We'll just call it Marvel Askew in this point. From the Sony branch of the anti-hero Venom, starring Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and Riz Ahmed, about a down-on-his-luck reporter, Eddie Brock, in a world with, I guess, without Spider-Man. Maybe it's with Spider-Man, who the hell knows. But Eddie Brock is in San Francisco. He's down on his luck with his, lost his girlfriend because of his own negligence and disregard for her well-being, and is just to get back on top, or just get that story, which leads to him inadvertently being infected by the symbiote named Venom. Now, first and foremost, there's a problem straight out the gate from here. I mean, if you know about the comic lore of Venom, you know that he is like Spider-Man's version of Doomsday, like Bane was to Batman. As a symbiote, aka he has to latch on to somebody like a parasite and becomes part of them. That's how this alien ooze that looks like a blob lives, right? And of course, in a comic story, that's how you get introduced to the idea of Venom, is that he's first imprinted on Spider-Man for a while, then he gets rid of him, and eventually comes across Eddie Brock, who has an axe to grind with Spider-Man, with Peter Parker. So, symbiotic relationship, they start working together and become the villain Venom. That's a comic book story. Of course, with the whole cluster of Marvel Cinematic Universe being great and being shepherding the newest edition of Spider-Man Homecoming, which was amazing by itself, I guess Sony got the bright idea that, hey, they love Spider-Man, let's do our own version of it, but just so we can get that money, get that Marvel money. No one's gonna care. But anyway, the gist of this portion is just the fact that the story of Venom is so ingrained with Spider-Man, it's kind of dumb that they're doing this, but here we are. So they were claiming this is like a body horror type of feel to the superhero genre, but what we really got was some type of weird comedy that, honestly, the movie is rated PG-13, but honestly it really could have benefited from a R rating, particularly for the fact that the character of Venom is known to be ultra violent, a la, I don't know, it worked for Deadpool and Logan, it worked just fine, but they went PG-13, and you feel it, you feel like, man, this really would have worked if it was rated R. And with that, let's get into the writing of this movie. I don't know where they were going with this. It feels like it's hodgepodge of a whole bunch of older. This movie probably would have been better if it would have came out in like the early 2000s or late 90s. I mean, it really does feel like that. I know others have said that, but it really feels like trying to bite off of what Marvel is doing so well with the quips and everything like that, but a lot of it's really missing. But it also feels like a Frankenstein script by 4 or 5 different people. It actually makes sense because it just feels like they just pasted each one. Jeff Pinkner, freaking Scott Rosenberg, and Kelly Marcel. And it feels like there's 3 scripts meshed together here, and none of them are melding in a coherent way, where it's just like, wow, okay, we got this tone, we got that tone, we got a few action scenes here, and the pacing's all off in terms of like the action. But I will say this, the way it's written, it does move at a fast pace thanks to the editing. But a lot of the dialogue, it feels like Guillermo del Toro had it, and this was like run through of it, his first draft of this, maybe even a rough draft, and they're just like, yeah, here, go ahead. I mean, the structure of the film doesn't make any sense. A lot of motivations feel very weak, and the dialogue itself is pretty hammy or just haphazard, and it makes the actors look bad. I just feel bad for all the actors, all these Oscar-worthy, critically acclaimed actors of Tom Hardy, who does his best. He's actually the best part about this because he played both Venom's voice, and Eddie Brock, obviously, and he does great with it. But unfortunately, he can't save this very haphazard script that feels like it's throwing everything at the wall and nothing is sticking, and it's just very forgettable. Speaking of forgettable, I mean, Michelle Williams has been nominated like 3 or 4 times, and it's just like, why are you here? Her part could have been played by anybody else that just needs to get seen. It's so below what she's usually doing. And Riz Ahmed, I mean, from Nightcrawler and that mini-series on HBO, The Night Of, like, dude's an impeccable actor, but him as the quote-unquote villain in this movie, he really tries to shine a turd in the wind, as Venom so eloquently put it in the trailer. But it's not smelling good. He's very one-dimensional, his character is one-dimensional, but it's not the actor's fault. He's trying to work with what he has, and he doesn't have a lot, which is a lot. But I will say, they had some fun parts in here, even though it's really just makes you laugh out of like, wow, they are really desperate here. But you still have a little bit of fun. And unfortunately for the director of this film, this is the director that came on strong. His name is Ruben Fleischer. This man made Zombieland. I mean, that's a cult classic right there. And it was incredible. But then he did Gangster Squad. I think he did another movie before this, but I can't remember. But it's really starting to show that he might be a one-hit wonder, unfortunately, with Zombieland, or needs to go back to it at least, because this is just edited so haphazardly. You're just like, okay, there's something missing here. I'm missing a whole bunch of character motivations, character building. Most of the relationships seem surface level, superficial, and you're just like, okay, where's the connective tissue here? Why are we over here? Why are we over there? But I will say this, that it does keep a brisk pace, and that's really all I can really say about it. The visual effects are decent at times, but for the most part, they're mediocre. I mean, or just terrible. And the fight scene, the final fight scene in the movie between two symbiotes, it's like a Transformers movie. You know, not the first one, but like Last Night, whatever the fourth one was called, I don't know, Extinction, whatever the hell those things are called, where you're just like, what is happening? I have no idea. Plus, it's super, super dark. And the whole time, you're just thinking like, where the hell is Spider-Man? Spider-Man needs to be a part of this. Stop it. I mean, oh boy. I mean, there's so many cringeworthy moments, but you're kind of just laughing out of pity with some of this stuff. It's just, I mean, I'm not even mad, and I knew this was coming with this movie because the trailers never impressed me or anything like that. So, on that note, Venom gets...
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Look, will the real Tom Hardy please stand up? Because, you know what? This summer, this movie, Venom, it feels like another movie that came out earlier in the summer. A little summer movie that no one saw coming, called Upgrade, with the other Tom Hardy. I swear to God, he looks like Logan Marshall Green. I swear, those two look like twins, but unfortunately, the look-alike was in a better movie than the actual Tom Hardy. And I'm still like just baffled by how the hell did that happen. This was just a schlocky CG fest with no story whatsoever. It probably would have worked better if it would have been on the level of budget that Upgrade had, or like, you know, just a little bit more than that, and had it been written Jim Uhls and Chuck Palahniuk, who helped us bring Fight Club to the screen. Like, can you imagine if it had that type of mentality for Venom? I think that would have worked much better with a feel for like, okay, you have the Upgrade version with The Fly in there. I mean, it would have been a better story. If you want me to explain that, ask and I'll make a video what I mean. But anyway, YouTubers and Cinephiles, What did you think about Venom? Have you even seen Venom? Do you even plan to see Venom? Let's talk about this. Take care. And that'll be it for now, YouTubers and Cinephiles. If you like the content and you want to comment, like, share amongst your friends, but do me a favor and look below the video and click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can get more amazing content like you just witnessed today. Y'all take care, YouTubers and Cinephiles.